Hey guys, still here and welcome back to Wargame. Today on Mod Fight, we are following a tactical match, as per the usual, but it's one of those hyper-tacticals or fast tacticals or whatever the cool kids are calling them these days. You don't really have a lot of points. In fact, you have so few points that you can generally not even buy a heavy tank to go into Foxtrot and fight in the open terrain. You also do not have a lot of infantry to go into Alpha nor into Delta. So, whatever forces you bring, whatever units you have, make sure that they are upfitted much, that they have good stats, and that they can do the job that they're sent out to do. Because you cannot really afford any fuck-ups in this particular match. Following Blue 4 today, and Blue 4 of course does come with some command units like a command tank, but it does not quite have the command diversity that Red 4 has. Red 4 has the T80 UK, which is basically a full-fledged tank, a super heavy, in the form of T80UM, just a little bit adjusted. The Abrams is not a bad tank, but it has definitely been power crept by the other units that came after it. So while the Command M1 Abrams is potentially going here, I am wondering whether it's going to survive for very long. Now let's see what else Blue has. We got the CV9030, M113... Command Infantry, I'm going to have to look up what these things are because they, I don't know, they're pretty rare in my book. The YP408, so that's the Dutch, that's a Fuchs, that's a Dutch-German deck, potentially a motorized deck looking at the stats. And over on the right, ooh, that's not a lot. Over on the right they got an AA unit, an AT unit, a Vickers, and nothing else. So this is what Blue is going to fight with. This is going to be an interesting match. I can tell you that much. It's going to be an interesting match. Then again, as far as I'm concerned, all the matches that I cover are interesting because I just filter out the uninteresting ones. Anyway, we're off. Immediately, Red throws up a bit of a smokescreen over here. And considering the speed at what they're doing that, it's not a Pulliam, it's just a couple of mortars. So this should allow Red to quickly capture these buildings, but Blue's YP408s are not any slower than Red 4's units. It's gonna come down to who offloads first. Now before I forget it, somebody was asking me, can you show me the other list as well, to see who's on the other team? These guys. This is Red 4, this is Blue 4. Anyway, the Dutch Marines have taken the buildings over here. What do they encounter? They encounter Formosa. Good luck with that. The Formosa are very, very lethal units with those grenade launchers, and the Marines are definitely hurting, but they outnumber the Formosa. They keep switching buildings here. 21 to 9, 19 to 9, 18 to 9, 17. This is not a good building to jump to, I would say, because over here you still have cover. Over here you can get shot at by all sorts of supporting units. So if I was given a choice, I would jump back to here. But this way, the Genie can also join in, which is the Dutch engineers. And with their flamethrower, they can put some extra pressure on the Formosa. Now, by the looks of it, these guys might in fact go down. Yep, the Formosa are heavily panicked. Looks like all the Marines and the Genie might actually survive. There you go, that's the Formosa dead. So they've taken these structures. Now, these units that I didn't quite recognize, looks like they're old, what was it, Centurions? Because I don't think they're Chieftains. 40-point tanks, M68 gun, 13 AP, 3 HE. Good accuracy. Range is a little lacking for a tank, but then again, it's only 40 points. So what do we have on the right flank? Well, on the right flank we have that AA team, and there was an AT team as well, but I don't see that one anymore. I'm just following a random player here, Prairie P&W. We have a Vickers, a Coyote, and a Milan. And this guy is saying, I hope he takes the bait. So he probably showed them a unit, potentially the Vickers. And that is when the sky, well, I was going to say the sky opens up. Pretty much. If somebody drops a couple of paveways on your head, it's, I think, pretty much like the sky opens up and says, fuck you, and particularly fuck your tank. Because this tank is an unhappy tank, and this tank is now a dead tank. And considering that that was an M84A, which does about 100 points, there you go, 95, that should mean that Red 4 no longer has any units on this flank, or at least nothing that can actually do much. So, Prairie is saying, gorgeous, let's move up. Moves forward the Coyote, spins up the Vickers, and these guys are now going to push up. If Red 4 has no further defense over here, this could be a really short match. Because this area is basically a stepping stone into Charlie, and from Charlie, well, you're going to have to do a bit more work to get into Bravo, but it's not impossible. In the meanwhile, Red is also suffering quite heavily due to Blue Fort infantry over here. Stormer have just taken out a vehicle, looking to take out a second, but this thing is definitely biting back. And there turns out to be a whole group of Red 4 infantry. CV-9030 over here is doing whatever it can to help out the Luftgarden, but, well, there are a good number of them. Fortunately, those Israeli tanks are also assisting, and they have seemingly taken out some units, but the amount of infantry and vehicles over here on blue is failing. They are losing out on too many units here. So hopefully, some more reinforcements are going to come in. We've got one more M113. One more HGM team. If these guys can get healed up, and it seems like that's what he's planning, then these might be able to take over the front line position from the infantry over here, because these definitely will not be around for very long. Now over on the right, they are making definitely good progress. They were here a moment ago. Yeah, here-ish. Whatever. Any sort of these tree lines. And they're now really, really advancing far. The question is, what do they have here? Because Borghese is saying clear this area. But what's in there? The Coyote's going to have to try and find out what that is. It's not exactly an enviable job. Because whatever's in there probably has eyes on you as you're moving across the open. So, with the Coyote a little reluctant to do that, it's up to the Rangers to go in. And just prematurely dropping a Nighthawk charge on that should also help with neutralizing whatever's in there. Or at least properly motivating it to go somewhere else. Prairie's bringing up more infantry. And, yep, there it is, 495. They still have their AA team and they have a Milan. These, well, at this position they're definitely not going to be doing anything useful. And then the question can be asked whether a Milan's going to be useful at all. 40% accuracy at a range of 2450. I don't really know what you try to hit with this thing. Maybe from an ideal ambush position, like the perfect spot, you could kill an infantry transport if it doesn't take you down with an autocannon first. But a tank is definitely, well, more than a bridge too far for this thing. I mean, sure enough, I've seen them do it. I've seen the Milan F1 take out tanks. But is it likely? I'd say not really. Not really. Now, it looks like Blue is going to be going home for Christmas in time. We have Alpha, we have Delta, well, Alpha and Delta neutral. Foxtrot is secure. That should give them a lot more points than Red is getting. Well, actually, no, they're getting the same amount of points. Overlook Charlie over there. If they can find the CV in Delta, that would help. And by the looks of it, they're very close to finding the CV in Alpha over here. If they can do that, that's another +4. And all the points matter in one of these tactical games. Now, considering there's a huge group of Blue 4 units over here, I'd say that the CV is probably not on this end, but more over here, as Flops is indicating. Now, as these guys are scouring the woods, what is happening over here? What's happening over here is that an HGM is about to, there you go, take out the Vickers. Unfortunately, the Vickers is no longer with us. That means that the Challenger 1 is now the best gun that they have over here. And in case there's infantry, the Coyote with the Bushmaster can help out. Blue 4, yep, there it is. They have found the Red 4 command infantry. Kiowa flew over very close. And actually didn't seem to have engaged with the minigun. Then again, I can't really blame it, because I think it's a fixed minigun. It's not something you can rotate. So you need to rotate the whole helicopter in order to use that. And interestingly, there's another CV. This is going well. A couple of Ranico are being pushed out of these woods. The Marines are just, well, waltzing right over them. They have taken out the area over here. Buati is asking for an airstrike. Crap, there goes their CV. They're asking for an airstrike. I'd say not really. Not with all these units underneath. So Blue 4 has taken out the Red 4 CV and vice versa. There is still another Red 4 CV over here. But the question is, how safe is it? Because we did see some Red 4 units patrolling these woods. Dismount. Yeah, are you sure about that? Now, they have now taken over Delta. Blue is leading by 500 points. Easy tactical, right? What else could go wrong? They have the woods. They have the area here under control. They have Delta under control. They even have a 495, almost in a position to actually get into these woods or shoot anything that comes out of it. Buati drops a Napalm Phantom on top of that. Again, this should really motivate anything that's in there to move, especially if it's infantry. And they seem to be setting up a defensive line over here, building up a force so that they can then push in. Fusilier 90, Warrior Milan. The Warrior Milans are going to have to really take the kill right now, otherwise they'll die. Nope, they're falling back. Maybe the 495 can get the Conquerors and save the Warriors. Yes, they got them. That was close, though. That was really close. MTLB taken down. Purry's doing quite nice so far. He scored 185 points. And Blue now also controls Alpha. So Blue has pretty much control of the entire map. So let's push in and wrap this up. Because Red probably doesn't have that much left, especially since they have a point lead of 550 points. Now Red might be setting up some more defenses over here in the form of what is that? A tank destroyer, I think? Looks like it might have been an ATS-103. Potentially AGGMs in here. We know that there are AGGMs, well, potentially were AGGMs in here. The Nighthawk situation might have changed that. And there is artillery landing on that, and that is courtesy of Buchanan 1C. So that should be enough firepower to at least get the infantry suppressed, hoping that the vehicles can then move up. Termos' Kiowa is back. And with that, we should have a little bit more information about the area. Jeez, this is risky and a half. Sending in a command helicopter over here. Potentially to just steal the sector from them. Or rather, make it neutral, but that is really aggressive. Now, Blue 4 CV and Alpha, as I had kind of predicted, it was not very safe. There was a unit that was still moving around here. I think it might have been FJB. Took out one CV and then took out the next. So Blue has lost Alpha again. But then again, so has Red. Once again, Buati comes in with the napalm and puts the whole town on fire. Yeah, this is not a war crime whatsoever. We just need the infantry that's in here to no longer pose a threat. Okay. Bringing up my recon. Where's that recon bird? Where's that helicopter? Did they shoot that down? I quite like that Kiowa. No, I don't see it anymore. I think it's dead. Alright, Warrior Milan. Here we go. Can you kill something? The answer is no. That missile goes all over the place, and while I know it is approaching New Year, it's a bit too early to just start shooting HGMs directly up and hoping that you hit something. And there's another one. See, this is why you can just harmlessly make fun of the Warrior Milan. The Milan F2 is a little bit more accurate by a whole 5%. One has 40, one has 45%. And look at that. Throw enough HGMs at something and one of them might actually hit it. And he actually took out the transport over there. Now, once again, the Nighthawk comes in. Not sure if that was a kill. I think it was. Yeah, there it is. It's just a Praga, though. It's a bit expensive to use a Nighthawk against that. But at the very least, it's no longer a problem. Now, we do apparently have a problem over here, as Flops is saying, hey, there's something going on here. Prairie is countering that with a couple of hogs. Keep in mind that these are not the heavy hogs, these are the standard ones. Those that just come with rocket pods. They're blind as a bat with poor optics. So this means that they will require assistance in spotting, and the spotting assistance is here. A scout defender is ready to arrive. And if these guys work together, they might counter whatever is in these woods. Now red is getting a couple more points, they're only 400 points behind. There. FJB 40. Taken one shot at the scout defender. Scout defender is still airborne. I'm not exactly sure how, because I thought that the missile that the FJB fires does 4 damage. But this thing survived on 3 hit points out of the original 4, and it doesn't come with armor. Anyway, we now know that there's FJB, so not stellar against enemy infantry, but no slouch either. They have AA and they have AT, so adjust your defenses in Echo as needed. But for the moment, why would that be a problem? Because we're still looking over here. Canadian rifles, however, are in a bit of trouble. They seemingly have taken out the HEGM infantry with their last couple of shots. But everybody else is going to take a lot of fire. There's an HEGM team over there. Ah, that's what I saw previous. It was a ZTQ-62, not an ATS-103. That's a tank destroyer. This is just a recon tank. And blue is definitely being kept at range. Now, what I think that they could use a bit more is HEGMs. And I know that there's an Israeli deck in here somewhere. But they seem to be operating on the left. I think it might be Juva with the Israeli deck. If you deploy 1 or 2 of their HEGM recon teams, you should have enough to both scout and neutralize any vehicles that are coming close. Sorry about my voice today. I spent 4 hours in the pool yesterday, so my voice is, I think quite heavily chlorinated at this stage. I hope it gets better as I progress through the video. Now, Canadian rifles. Encountering the Picota Smek. This does not look good for the Canadians. They are going to get assistance from a 495, but is that enough? No, that's not enough, because they're all getting mortared. And that's very likely the mortar shells that are coming in from the mortars that we saw previous, that initially put up the smoke screens over here. Something like that is probably still alive in Bravo. Now, what else is blue bringing in here? Ah, there's this... Oh, another aircraft. They're bringing the Skyhawk. It's going to be danger close here. Nope. And what? They actually bought a MiG? That's interesting. This is the MiG-19 PM. Anti-airplane range 4200. Accuracy 35%. I mean, sure enough, they're fire and forget missiles, and he might actually get the kill, were it not for the fact that he gets shot down by a chieftain. But it seems like somebody else did get the kill. Right over there. And, yep, red still has a pretty hefty defense over there. Whoa, they even got a Neva. Did you just buy that? You don't just go buying a 95-point AA unit when you're this heavily pressured. On the other hand, Buatsi just bought a Prowler. I guess all these points are starting to really rack up, and that they are now able to bring in a lot of units. Or at least increasingly expensive units. Yep, there's another AA unit. Flacom Oso, we need to take that thing down quick. Challenger, should be 1 shot for you, potentially 2. Depending on your base accuracy. Yeah, base accuracy is 60%. 45 on the stabilizer. We just need eyes on it. Now, blue, 1655, red, 1025. 18 minutes left. Just find the units and there you go. 1 shot for the Challenger Mark 1. Unfortunately, we have an HEGM coming in. And it misses by very, very little. There's the culprit. And the culprit immediately gets punished by the Challenger. Target down. If you can also take this one down, then I think the Nighthawk operator would be very, very grateful. But no, it's moving off. Neva is not sticking around to meet the Challenger head on. Oh shit, HEGM. Hit. There's another one. You won't survive that. There you go. Challenger down. And is this still that ZTQ? Yep. That's still the ZTQ-62. Perfect skirmish tank for these areas. Doesn't do a whole lot against other tanks because they only have 8 frontal armor. But against infantry, they can both spot them and take them out at the same time. And they are, in fact, heavily working over the Rangers here. Now another airstrike from... well, not from the Prowler. There's Sniper's MiG again. Where do you want to fly that? Because you're encountering a Hornet. And this thing, if it even has... yeah, it has 10% ECM. Yeah, not a chance. And this is a rookie at that. This guy has 0 experience. Alright, Blue, come on. Wrap things up. We are seemingly losing helicopters over here. That's the Hogs that Prairie at some time bought. Never used. And now they're all dead. And to make matters worse, Echo is lost. They have CVs. So there's no lack of command vehicles over here. There might be a surplus of command vehicles in the form that Red 4 actually has a command vehicle in here. So Red has 1.5 command zones and Blue has none. That's going to be a problem. Buchanan is trying to suppress the forest over here, which is a good move. With the Prowler coming back. This thing, if it evacs, it can no longer be called in. But what it can do for the moment is act as a bit of a lightning rod. To attract all the AA fire. Making sure that whatever is in here that has AA is going to throw it at the Prowler. And then other helicopters, provided that we have any, can come back. Now, Prairie is saying help, help. Because the command helo is being sent forward aggressively. I think it was actually a good move. Because a command helicopter has very good optics. At some point, quite late after they released the game, they changed that spec. And with that, the command helicopter, in desperate situations, can become a bit of a recon helicopter. So they know that there's at least 1 infantry unit here, another infantry unit there, and there's a third. This is sniper fire and purging. And that's Legion 90. Oh, good luck. Good luck, good luck, good luck. A Bison is trying to interfere, but seemingly doesn't really know how to drive. And gets taken out by the FJB. If this one dies, there's 1 more command infantry in here. But that is about all that they have left. I mean, sure enough, they got more command units, but they have nothing that can take down the infantry that's skirmishing around their territory. A couple of Saxons are being rushed forward. They might take some shots at the FJB, but the FJB are ready. Jump into a building, take out 1 Saxon, reload, and take out another. And there goes the command squad from Flops. Taken fire from the Legion 90 and the FJB, and they have taken control of the sector. So, Blue. That's a bit problematic. Because initially, you had a lot of points. You had a lot of territory. And now you are squarely boxed in. Now, the guy who was operating the planes, Buati, or something like that, he immediately surrendered. He cannot longer... he's useless. Because he can no longer access his air force. And without an air force, he doesn't have anything to play with. Nor can he call in anything else. Nor do I really see any potential for Blue 4 to come back. Because they are still holed up over here. And they cannot really get into Charlie, let alone Bravo. And they might be able to go into Echo. But it's going to be a risky venture. They're just sending in unarmed units at this point. There's a KCT over there. We got some more infantry coming back. But of course Red is going to be entrenching this position at this stage. So it's going to be very hard. Because they're no longer just facing FJB. They're also facing vehicles. And, yep. Raniko Yekiri with an XA-180 in support. The KCT don't stand a chance. M35 doing a bit of an aggressive recon run over here. Yeah, there's the welcoming committee. That was a lot of Red 4 units. Couldn't quite see what that was, but... oh, crap. That's a T-72M. Now, if they'd pushed in the Chieftain Marksman, they might have gotten some damage in. The Chieftain can potentially even survive one AT round from the FJB. But if you're looking at a T-72M, well, good luck. Because that's something of a whole different magnitude. And M135s are coming in from flops. Offload the infantry. Too late. Yeah, this is not looking good, guys. Coyote coming back from flops. It might do some damage against the ZSD-90, but not against the T-72. 495 from flops coming back in. Again, same treatment. HEGM, or not HEGM, autocannon fire and the T-72. There's Canadian rifles. These guys are also getting taken out very quickly. And there is just nothing that blue can do. Well, there is something that blue can do, and that's lose more command vehicles, because they just lost one. And now it is going to be FJB versus the Command M1 Abrams, which has all of its weapons turned off. And they might not get them turned on again. Although... here we go. Firing on all cylinders. We got the main gun, the Brownings, and that's something that the FJB are not really up against. So the FJB are going down. The Command Abrams is alive, but they know their position. And if Redford just sends in one combat helicopter, it doesn't even have to be a full-blown gunship. There is nothing that they can do. Because there's no AA around here. Well, that is if you want to be counting the Red Eye as AA, but these things have accuracy that's even more atrocious than the Milans. So, yeah, I don't really expect these to be shooting down a gunship. Now we finally have something that can challenge the T-72M. We got a Chieftain Mark V, but it looks like the T-72 might get the last laugh. No, it missed! And he got him. T-72M is down. Points, 22-10 for blue, 24-15 for red. This is quite ambitious, taking Legion 90 to take down a Chieftain. But they're not alone. They are bringing the infantry, which does have anti-tank infantry, or anti-tank weapons. They're currently engaged with paratroopers from flops. Legion 90 are going to take out these guys very quickly. While the Virconde... yeah, there goes the Chieftain. So, let's wrap this up, shall we? Because there is nothing that blue can do. They got outplayed by 3 infantry squads. 1 Legion, 2 FJB. That's all that came in there. Well, okay, and a command infantry squad if you want to count that. So, whenever everything looks lost, don't quit. Because if you have just a couple of infantry squads and Red 4 doesn't do much, then, well... oh, sorry, the enemy team, not Red 4. If the enemy team doesn't do much, then you can still win. Pretty badly. Because these guys were looking at a total defeat, or at least a heavy defeat. And they just completely turned it around. 3 infantry squads and a command infantry, and that's it. Well done. Now, credit where credit is due. Sniper fire sent in the replay. But I thought it'd be interesting to tell the story from a different angle. Because it looked like all was lost. And that's what Sniper opened up with in the description of his replay. And I thought, yeah, you know, I can cover it from Sniper's perspective or from blue. And give you the impression that it's a very easy win for blue. And then, in the end, you just see them getting their asses handed to them. Anyway, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you have a good replay of your own, send it in. There's a link down below in the description where you can do that. And aside from that, I shall hope to see you soon on another Wargame replay video. Yeah, we're not going to make a blooper out of that one. Any of you who's still listening at this point, we are going to be keeping that in the video. See you guys later.